Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to sew on your pieces if you are deciding to do some applique. So here's a quick reminder about threading our needles. So we thread the needle, then you put both thread ends together in one hand, stretch them out to make them even, stack, pinch, wrap, and then you're going to pinch and pull off the back side to make our magic knot. So instead of gluing, this tutorial is showing us how to sew on our pieces, our applique pieces. So I'm going to be sewing on the eye of my little frog guy here. Now, you can use a running stitch or a whip stitch. I'm going to demonstrate the whip stitch. And to do the whip stitch, I'm going to just work on that small white circle. So you always push up from the back. You don't want any knots visible. So always, always, always do it from the back. I poked up through both pieces, and then I'm poking down right next to where the white circle ends. So this is how the whip will work. You go up through both and poke down right next to where the fabric ends. So a small piece only needs like 4 or 5 whip stitches. After I finish the white circle, I can move right over to the black circle. So if you have pieces that are stacked together and you have multiple layers, you can kind of sew them all in one sitting this way, and that way you're not having to tie a lot of extra knots. So I whip stitch around the black circle, and once I've completed that, then I can sew around the white eye. And actually for the white eye part, I decided to do a running stitch. So I'm going up through both pieces of fabric and then back down through both pieces of fabric. Always trying to keep those stitches really short and really close together. All right, so everything is all stitched together. You can see the stitches on the back. Reminder, when we tie knots, you always tie knots. Slide your needle under a stitch, turn it around, go back through your thread loop, pull tight, repeat, under the stitch, back through the loop, and then you can cut it off. All right, for the next part, I'm going to show you how you can use embroidery floss to stitch on lines. So a lot of our characters, you want to, have a very small line like eyelashes or mouths. So in this case, I'm going to be doing the mouth for the frog. Embroidery floss is different than thread. It is much thicker, and there's actually 6 strands of very skinny string wrapped together. So you would pull out the length that you need, and notice I left the little hank of floss together. I didn't unravel it. It gets tangled like super fast. All right, threading the needle. It's a little trickier to thread just because it's thicker, but take your time, you can do it. Same rules apply. You're going to match up the 2 end strands and pull it even so you don't have any knots. The needle's not going to want to slide as easy, so you have to kind of work it a little bit more. So point, pinch, stack, wrap, and you only need to wrap like 2 or 3 times because it's thicker, so you need less string to make the knot. All right, you should mark on your felt piece where you want the line to be. So whether it's like eyelashes or a little doggy's mouth. The white pencils work on dark fabric. A skinny Sharpie will work fine on light. And you don't want this line to be really noticeable, which is why I'm using the skinny Sharpie, not the thick Sharpie. All right, we're going to do something called a back stitch. So again, we're always, always, always starting from the back side of the fabric. I'm starting at one end of my smile, pull through. I'm going to do 1 stitch, and I can do a little bit of a longer stitch. So you can see it's a little longer than we normally do. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm going to skip up ahead of space, pull through, and this is the back part. I'm going back to where that other stitch ended. Okay, so you repeat it. You skip ahead, pull through, and then go back down. And see how it makes a continuous line. And that's how the back looks. And you're just going to repeat that as many times as you need to get to the end of your line. So skip ahead, stitch back, skip ahead, stitch back. And there, instead of having to cut a very skinny felt piece, you can just stitch an